What's up? In the car again, in the car rider line, waiting to pick up Kaya, and I'm studying for my CrossFit level 3, and I'm posting it for accountability, and just in case any of you are nerds. There you go. There's the car rider people collecting my tag. So this is the third in this series. The first, I just started going through the article, Understanding CrossFit, out of the CrossFit Level 1 Trainer Guide. The second in this series, I went off track a little bit and talked a little bit about my why for why I started CrossFit, why I started coaching, and why I opened a gym. If you want to know more about that, go back and listen to the second one. Some of it might surprise you, some of it might not. The short of that is that it's about way more than CrossFit or just like being fit for the sake of being fit. I really want to help people increase their capacity to do good in the world, because I believe it's what you're created for. Be a blessing to others, and we live in a physical world where physical tasks are required for that, and the more capacity you have, the more good you can do. So I want your health and fitness to be a liability for you, or an asset, not a liability. It's important to me. I believe I would go as far as to say we have a moral obligation to do whatever is in our control to optimize our health and fitness. And I know it's difficult. It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. I have a lot of empathy and compassion for people who struggle with their health and fitness, nutrition, and that's why I coach CrossFit and why I opened a gym, because I want to help. I want to help. You have control over a lot more than you realize, and a lot of it just starts with acknowledging that and taking ownership of that. So back into the CrossFit Level 1 Trainer Guide. So this is, by the way, I have it right here in front of me. It's pretty robust. This is just a Level 1 Trainer Guide. There's a Level 2 guide, and there's a whole bunch of Level 3 materials to be studied and known before taking this test. But they're very secretive. They keep it close to the vest as far as what is actually in the Level 3, what you need to know. You take the test and you have to sign a non-disclosure where you're not allowed to share what any of the questions were, anything like that. The general guidance that I've gotten is know the Level 1 guide inside and out and how to apply it, and know the Level 2 guide inside and out and how to apply it, and then all the other study materials as well, but especially the Level 1 and Level 2. So that's why I'm going through it, and just thought I would record it if any of you guys are nerds like me and you enjoy this stuff. So I'm just gonna go to where I left off last time. So CrossFit's constantly varied high intensity functional movement. We talked about that in the first and a little bit in the second episode. Feels weird to say episode. I'm just recording myself sitting in the car. But the methodology that drives CrossFit is entirely empirical. We believe that meaningful statements about safety, efficacy, and efficiency, the three most important and interdependent facets to evaluate any fitness program, can be supported only by measurable, observable, and repeatable data. We call this approach evidence-based fitness. CrossFit's methodology depends on full disclosure of methods, results, and criticisms. And we have employed the internet. This was written in 2007, by the way. We've employed the internet to support these values. So in other words, the reason why we record our workouts, record scores, why we do benchmark workouts and record scores and record all the details about what we did and then repeat them, and we want to see, did our times get faster, did our weights getting heavier in general, is because it's observable, measurable, and repeatable data that we can point to and say, okay, this is working, or it's not. And if you do that across a broad range of styles, types of workouts, so meaning like heavy lifting, metabolic conditioning workouts, which is a lot of what CrossFit is, a workout like Helen, where it's 3 rounds of a 400-meter run, 21 kettlebell swings, and 12 pull-ups. That includes some traditional monostructural cardiovascular endurance work with the running, weightlifting with the kettlebell swings, and some gymnastics with the pull-ups. But it becomes intermingled, because when you're doing it for time, you're moving as fast as technique will allow on all 3 of those movements. So you're getting the cardiovascular endurance adaptation, as well as strength, as well as coordination and agility and balance and power, speed. So all that to say, you do that across a broad range of workouts, and you have a really good picture of your fitness, your work capacity across broad time and modal domains, which is actually another article that we'll get to. That article really is the one that had a big impact and kind of flipped the fitness world on its head, because until that article, which was written in 2002, was written, there was no empirical definition of fitness. It was, if you looked it up in the dictionary, it was like fitness is the state of being fit, and health is the absence of disease. And there just wasn't anything that was like, okay, tell me what fitness is, and then who's fitter? How do you determine who's fitter? Is it the marathon runner or is it the power lifter? Greg Lassen came out and created a scientific definition: work capacity across broad time modal domains, which can be measured by measuring that work capacity across broad time, meaning short, medium, long, and modal domains. Modal meaning weightlifting, gymnastics, monostructural, light, moderate, heavy, long, short, all that kind of stuff. So, and it was put to the test, and is put to the test in the worldwide CrossFit community. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands of people doing it around the world. And really the ultimate pinnacle of that is the sport of fitness, the CrossFit Games, where it's showing like, okay, at the very tip of the spear, what is this methodology capable of producing? And it's the fittest athletes in the world, because they can, CrossFit athletes now, it's insane. Like their Olympic weightlifting totals, like their 1 rep max, they couldn't go and compete in a international weightlifting competition, but how close they are, given that they can also run sub 5-minute miles, and they can walk on their hands, and they can do all that stuff in combination fast is pretty insane. There's really no other methodology in the world that has produced that type of capacity. And we can say that empirically because it's all measurable. You can measure, like, okay, how far did they move? What was the load they carried? And how long did it take them? So that's one of the things that has had a huge impact on the fitness industry that we take for granted, and has caused a lot of the derivatives of CrossFit to become more ubiquitous now. But when CrossFit first started, no one else was looking at things that way. So like I said, it says right here, CrossFit is quite simply a sport. It's the sport of fitness. Now, don't be confused, even though it says that. The point of CrossFit is not sport, meaning it's not the sport of CrossFit, I would say. The goal of CrossFit is not to be good at CrossFit. The goal of CrossFit is to increase your fitness across your lifetime, which is your health, your capacity, your work capacity across your lifetime. It's really important to keep in mind, even though we track scores, even though there's a leaderboard, those are tools to push you to push your threshold in order to increase your fitness and increase your health. It's not the goal. And I'm about to have to drive away now, so I'll just end it on that. Just day in and day out in classes, that's just an important thing to keep in mind, that at CrossFit Spring Hill, we don't have a big issue with like ego and people over prioritizing the leaderboard and the competitive aspect of it, thankfully. But some gyms do, and some people really muddy the waters there, and to the point where they're no longer prioritizing moving well, and they're becoming obsessed, and it kind of runs their life. Their identity is based on how well they do in a CrossFit workout. Just remember that there is a competitive aspect to it, and it's fun, and I enjoy pushing myself and looking at myself compared to other guys in the gym and stuff like that, but always keeping in mind that the purpose is to improve my life outside of the gym, and even bigger than that, improve my life so that I can improve others' lives, so that I can serve God and serve others with more capacity. I believe I have a moral obligation to do that, and that you do too. I know that can be challenging because fitness and health and nutrition is challenging, but we have more control over it than we like to admit, and that's why I started a gym, to help busy adults who feel overwhelmed but know that they need to do something with their health and fitness. So if I can help you, let me know. I'd love to just chat about it, no pressure. But anyway, this is the end of this call because I have to go drive around and pick up Kai, and I'm not supposed to be on my phone. Okay. Talk next week or next time I'm picking up Kai in the car.